I have a lot of jerseys in my collection. A lot. This is my 2023 update. So I have them organized by team here, and I thought I'd go through them, talk about the design a little bit, and all that wonderful stuff. So firstly, I want to say that some of these are going to be Fanatics. Like, not all of them are going to be the OG CCMs or the Adidas Real Deal, or I don't really have any Reeboks in this collection, but they're not going to be like not all of them are going to be official. They're going to be Fanatics. They're going to be one's Mitchell and Ness. So there's going to be some fanfare here, but I thought, let's go through it. We'll start off with an easy one. This is not a team I really find myself rooting for, but it's a jersey I picked up for really cheap, and it's the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens have a classic design. It's a design that will never change, even with these laces that don't do anything, and of course the NHL logo's in French, and it's got the French in there that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. And I got this because this was a carry price. It was incredibly cheap. And I got this the year Montreal were having a good run in the playoffs. I ordered this a week before, I think a few days before Game 2 against Toronto. And it arrived just in time for me to wear it during the Toronto's 3-1 collapse. So it's a carry price jersey, so of course I'm going to get it. I mean, on the bright side of many things, it's a Montreal jersey, yes, which is a team I don't cheer for, but it's Carey Price, and I like Carey Price. I have high respects for Carey Price. So this is definitely a jersey that I like, that I've picked up. But moving across down my collection, we're going to start out of order in a little bit of ways. We're going to get Vancouver and Detroit out of the way, just as a spoiler alert. And to start with Vancouver, we're going to start with Mitchell and Ness, and we're going to start with one of the most bizarre, the most ugly, and yet one of the most beautiful designs, in my opinion, that we've ever seen. And this is, of course, the Flying V. Now, this is the nicer of the two Flying Vs, if you can believe it. This is the black one. The black one is a little nicer in terms of its looks, because it's black. Really, the only thing that's gaudy is this giant V. And, because of course. But the other one was this color. So, yeah, there was definitely some problems there. This is a little bit smaller than the other jerseys. This is a 52, so it's technically a large, and I can wear it just fine. It fits, but the sleeves are just a little bit short for my arms, so that's ultimately what ends up happening. And because it's a Mitchell and Ness, the thick material that it's made out of is just ridiculous. But it's a nice jersey nonetheless. Glad I have it. Next one is actually my first Vancouver jersey. This was the alternate that they had during their 50th anniversary year. So this was the alternate they brought out. And I remember at the time when Buffalo and Vancouver, two teams who had entered the league around the same time, were celebrating their 50th anniversary together, people commented and lamented at the fact that they thought Buffalo did a much better job. Buffalo in the collar line, they added the logos that they previously had, and they introduced an alternate jersey that was all white with a gold buffalo on the front, and it looked nice. I'm not going to say that it was or that it wasn't. And of course, Vancouver, they introduced two new jerseys, and actually they introduced four, because this was the year they dropped the Vancouver word mark from the front. There's other jerseys. And this was their alternate. They, of course, had a black skate jersey that they wore on occasion. But people will comment and say, that Vancouver just didn't do a good job that year because, look what they did compared to what Buffalo did. And I understand it. I understand that technically this isn't a nice look, all things considered. It is nice. The colors are simple. The logo is simple. The color line's nice. The jersey itself is a pretty fun, pretty good jersey. The logo itself, again, Fanatics, so it's all flat, but Pretty good logo, all things considered. This is retired, which is a bit of a shame, but hey, so be it, and so goes by the wayside. Next jersey is, of course, my Trevor Linden skate, because the skate jersey is my all-time favorite jersey. And of course, Fanatics, because, of course, cheap prices. So, yeah. And I actually wore this to a Caths Canucks game earlier this year, which led to me getting the skate jersey. So, it's a fun jersey. I like it. And if you look close, it does the cardinal sin that Vancouver fans hate with the white not going all the way to the S. But other than that, it's a fun jersey. It's a nice jersey. The only problem I have with this Fanatics version over my other Fanatics jerseys is the logo is awful. It's super scratchy. It's all centered. At least it feels that way. Yeah, it's all centered. Because I judge the center line of a jersey where the neckline goes, and the neckline center is on the right-hand side of the jersey over here. So, I love it. I find myself wearing it quite a bit because it's comfortable. I like the look. I'm not a huge fan of the fit, but I mean, it's a nice jersey. I like the new one too. I like the current one that they did. This is a nice throwback. Going on down to Detroit, and both my Detroit jerseys are reverse retros. And we'll start with the first one because I want to do something. This is the first reverse retro they did. This was a multi-stage thing. It says 98, but the striping is more similar to the jersey they had in the 60s. It's plain. They went plain. They thought that their fans would appreciate the plain look. So it's calling back to 98 because of the logo, because the logo is very similar. It's calling back to the 60s because the jersey has very simple striping. This was before they changed the colors on the arms too. So in the 60s, their jerseys were all one color with a red stripe, or all red because of the red jersey with a white stripe. This one is calling back to that with the striping. It's all white. But it's also got calls to the Sentinel Classic, which is where this gray is supposed to come into play. But it's gray, it's not silver, and the thing with LA and Vegas and Dallas and a few other teams as well is they've proven you could do the sparkle look. So I don't know why they just didn't go with actual silver here to kind of call back to that. I think if they did, it probably would have blended better, but it also would have looked like it was just all one thing. And again, completely all white. I don't find myself wearing this that often. Because of that, I got a new jersey. And it was, of course, the reverse retro from this year. And I like this one a lot better. I know, Fanatics, but, this is one where I think the Fanatics one isn't too bad. A few interesting points is, number one, that orange in the NHL logo just kind of blends in from a distance. You can't really tell. It's only when I zoom real close in that you could see that, yeah, it pops. They went orange to be like the retro NHL logo, which is fine. It's cool. It's great. It's fantastic. But there's quite a few things with it that I think are bizarre because on certain teams it just didn't go. I think specifically on the Dallas jersey, it pops, it stands out like a sore thumb. On this one, it just completely blends in. And on the Edmonton jersey, it just looks like it's a part of the Edmonton jersey. Now, another interesting point, other than that, is Porlock. Because this is a Tyler Bertuzzi. And I got this, and then within a few weeks, he was traded. So, yeah, bad luck with jersey pickups. If going back, I would have gotten a Larkin, but that just means that this stands out a little bit more, right? It's a Bertuzzi. Why not? So fun, so cool. Next, we'll start with Washington, because I have a lot of Washington jerseys, but I consider myself more of a fan of the Coyotes. And this is, of course, the alternate jersey that the Caps had during the 2018-19 season. This was the start of the collection, really, and I like this jersey quite a bit. As much as I adore the Screaming Eagle, which, spoiler alert, the Screaming Eagle is 100% my favorite, and you will see that in a minute, jersey that the Caps have ever worn, I like this look a lot. And I wish, if somehow, some magical way, they did a third round of the reverse retros, that they did a reverse of this. I think it could totally look nice. They did a reverse of the Screaming Eagle the first time round. They did a reverse of the Screaming Eagle the next time round. And I think that that's fine, that's cool, and I think a white Screaming Eagle could definitely be something you could do. But I think this part of the Caps history needs to be placed into the front as well. I've seen concepts where they've done this in blue, which I think just looks nice. And of course, Caps in blue, you can't go wrong. This is, of course, a TJ Oshie. So, all around, really cool jersey. And the start of a beautiful thing. However, it's not when I got into hockey. I got into hockey during the 2017-18 season. And I watched the Caps go all the way to the final and lift it. This is a Fanatics, yes. This is a championship jersey. And this is a jersey that I was lamenting, and you could see the 7, and you're thinking, Oshie. I thought about it. I thought about Oshie, I thought about Wilson, I thought about Backstrom, Ovechkin, Holtby, Grubauer, Christian Djoos, Delonte Smith-Pelly. There were a lot of Caps I could have picked. But in the end, I ultimately decided on my own name. And the number I always wear in NHL games, which is 47. So, fun jersey. I consider this kind of the jumping off point. That's why I got it. It was on sale. Of course, the championship patch, which is a really nice patch. And this is kind of the emotional connection. It's how I first got into hockey. So, of course, I like the Caps. I'm a fan of the Caps. So, this is kind of that memento piece, that call back and that connection. They wore this when they won the Cup. They were champions that year. It was also the year I got into hockey. So, all in all, cool jersey, good jersey. I love it. Now we get to some Screaming Eagles. And this is, of course, the reverse retro from the first time round. So, I actually am torn on which version of the Screaming Eagle I like. Part of me thinks that this one's better because it fits with the current color scheme. However, part of me likes the original colors better. So this is, of course, the reverse retro. It's red. It's got blue at the bottom, which is funny because people will comment and say, well, this is a reverse of the white of the blue version. And owning a blue version and seeing the colors, I think it's a reverse of the white. Because on the white, the blue, the steely blue they had in the 90s and early 2000s was at the bottom. So they just threw red on there. This is, of course, a John Carlson. I got this, I know I haven't really mentioned, but specifically this. I got this the year after they wore it. I went to a preseason game. They were allowing fans in attendance again, and they had 3 that would fit me. 2 John Carlson Adidas and 1 Fanatics in like a 5XL. So, I bid on it. I just bid on it. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. I was going to get it. And I like it a lot. It's a cool jersey. I like the Screaming Eagle a lot. My favorite Caps logo. And I'm a huge fan of the 90s. So, there's that. But the year before, since I couldn't get the reverse retro, I went with the retro. I got this for, real cheap at a clothing store that was in California. They had a website, and I ordered it off of it. And this is the original. It's blank. It came to me in really good shape, really folded up. I am honestly surprised of how good of a shape this is in. There's no holes. There's no holes. The fabric, the patch on the front's all bent because of how it was folded. The vinyl work on the front, because these are vinyl, these could peel off, is intact. There's a mark on the back, which you wouldn't really notice. And at the bottom, you You can kind of see it. This bit of the tail was up. But, cool looking jersey. I like it a lot. It, of course, fits me. It's a nice jersey. I like the blue. And then, of course, because I'm a collectionist, I decided I was going to get the reverse retro from this year. And I was originally going to get a Tom Wilson Fanatics, but they had a whole wall of Adidas. This is, of course, a TJ Oshie. The only thing I regret is you can see size 54. And this one fits a little tight, so I don't try not to wear it that often. I like the patch here. I like the detailing with the prime green. I like the shoulder patch. It's all a cool, nice jersey. It's robust. However, the player that I would have considered it, and that's part of the reason why I have this, is I pretty much told myself that if Gordie Howe record was passed by Ovi, that I would get an Ovi jersey. And I wanted the stadium jersey. I couldn't get that. They didn't have an OV in the stadium, so I went with the alternate. And this is, of course, another prime green. It's a size 54. It fits better. It's a nice jersey. I like the patching, the numbers, the colorization. It just all fits. No shoulder patches or anything. But, you know, that doesn't really matter. The detailing on this is super simple, but it completely works. The laces, of course, completely useless. They don't do a damn thing. Now, we get to the Coyotes. My coup de grace, the number 1. And this was the first Coyotes jersey I got. It was during the 2018-19 season. This is, of course, the Kachina alternate. It's got a few of the embarrassing things that they didn't do in the original, such as that this is filled in, and this over here is filled in. And the striping here on the arm doesn't really match with the original. Now, according to NHL uniforms, which I always use as pretty much a benchmark to like tell like the differences between jerseys, they claim that this color on one of the skates was orange. And every time I read that, I always pull this out and go, wait, it was? And it isn't. Now, the patches are incredibly nice on this, on the shoulder. And I want this to be known because I got a different one over here. So this is a nice jersey. Nice look, nice design. It's my favorite. I've loved the Kachina. I think the Kachina is a jersey that completely fits with the city. It's got ties. The fact that it was designed by a native to Arizona who got permission from a local tribe there to construct this look is just amazing. And I love it. The Kachina is amazing. Now, to add to the reverse retro collection, we have the Space Coyote, or the Piote, or whatever you want to call it. Now, my picking up of the Caps reverse retro from this year kind of made me realize that maybe the prime greens run a little small, and just to be on the safe side, I typically order them a size up. My blue Caps jersey I got in a size 54, and it fits. This is a size 56, and I pretty much got it just to be on the safe side. I did the same thing with my white Kachina. But this is a nice look. It's got a salamander on the shoulder because, you know, reasons. It's got decent detailing here, a nice simple pop that makes it edge more or pop out more. The patch on the reverse retro isn't as detailed. It's mostly just an outline. The black outline really is embroidered nice and pops out more, whereas the internals are very, very flat. It's weird. And of course, it's got the cacti on the bottom. My only complaint with both Coyotes reverse retros, and it's a small complaint. It's really not that much of a complaint. This is, of course, Clayton Keller, my favorite Coyote. He has been for a while. Is on the original alternate, there were cacti and desert hills on the bottom. They're absent on both the reverse retros. I think they missed the mark with that one, especially because they could have totally done the bottom of the sleeves to be similar to this, And I understand why they didn't. And I think the reason is because they're trying to go for there's protection involved. So on the ones they wear on the ice, they went with a thick fabric because you want your wrists to be protected. And this fabric down here is kind of thinner than the rest of the fabric of the jersey. So, there's that. And now we end up the collection with the most recent addition. This is, of course, the white Kachina. And it's prime green. It's Clayton Keller. One thing I will mention, I personally prefer the white Kachina over the dark. I do. When I think of Coyotes, when I get all the visions in my head, I mostly think of guys wearing this. And, like Roenick and Kachuk and all them. And I just really like the jersey. I think the numbers look better with the green outline and that brick red color. On the originals, the brick red in the letters and the green was a little lighter. And I think the striping was too. But on this one they went darker, which I completely agree with. And the patch is it's flat like on the reverse retro. And it's mostly the black outlines that pop, but man, does it pop! It looks good, and of course they cut out a portion right over here, not over here, but they did right beside there, and of course they cut this out so it looks a little nicer. And I've always preferred the color separation that the white Kachina has. I do, and I just think it's a nicer look. Like, I like the striping in red with the touch of the sand color and the green with the black. Like, it's an overall nice jersey. Now, that was a lot of jerseys that I went over. So, if I had to sort of kind of rank them all, I can. It's a completely different video, but, why not? So, mostly I think I'll be wearing Coyotes gear this year, but we'll see. Anyway, this was a long video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I have a vast collection here, and I thought, why not get back in the swing of posting YouTube videos? I couldn't really think of what else to post and talk about, so I thought, talk about my jerseys. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, if and when that ever happens, right?